At our store's anniversary party, my brother grabbed the mic and shouted, "Let's thank our favorite Tagalong, she means well, even if she'll never run this place." I smiled as everyone cheered. 2 weeks later, I finalized a deal to merge with a larger brand, a deal that left him with no ownership and no voice in the company he thought he controlled. So, yeah. Canton, Ohio. That's where this whole thing happened. Our family owned Riley's Supply and Home, a hardware and home improvement store my dad built from nothing. It wasn't fancy, but people trusted us. My dad was the kind of man who knew every regular customer by name. By the time he passed, we had 3 stores spread across Stark County. We weren't rich, but we were solid. When he died, my older brother Denny and I inherited the business. He was 42, I was 35. Dad's will didn't spell out exact roles. He just left it to us equally. But Denny took that as his green light to run everything. He was loud, confident, and always thought he knew best. And I let him take the lead. At first, I stayed in the background, handling payroll, inventory tracking, and vendor relationships. I learned the ropes quietly. Denny made all the public decisions, ads, hiring, the website, but when anything got messed up, guess who fixed it? Me. Like when he signed a contract with that shady insulation supplier from Indiana? They sent us 3 shipments of garbage that we couldn't sell. I had to untangle that mess. Or when he forgot to renew our forklift insurance? That one almost got us sued. Still, I never raised my voice. I never made a scene. But that night, at the anniversary party, I changed. We were outside the flagship store off Whipple Avenue. It was a warm night, early September. Everyone from all 3 locations showed up, cashiers, delivery drivers, even our old manager who retired last year. There was music, food, beers in coolers, and a rented mic and speakers. Denny had been drinking. That alone wasn't unusual, he always had a beer in hand at social events. But when he got tipsy, he liked to show off. He always needed to feel important. So, he got up on the mic to give a speech. 40 years of Riley's Supply, he said, raising his beer. Dad would be proud, right? The crowd cheered. He talked about our beginnings, how he used to sweep the warehouse floors when he was 12. He dropped a few corny jokes about contractors and plumbers. Then, he looked straight at me. And hey, let's give it up for my little sister. The best Tagalong a guy could ask for. She means well, even if she'll never run this place. People laughed. Not everyone, but enough that it rang in my ears. Some of the older staff looked uncomfortable. A few younger guys clapped hard, trying to be funny. I smiled. Not because it was funny, but because I had already started the process of cutting him out. 3 months earlier, I'd been approached by someone from Braddock Home and Timber, a regional brand with 12 stores across the Midwest. They were looking to expand into Northeast Ohio. They wanted local credibility, and we had that. But what they really wanted was our locations and client list. I didn't tell Denny. I met with them twice. I gave them clean books, explained our debt, our assets, our vendor ties. I showed them how I ran operations while my brother took credit. They were impressed. They wanted me. So, I made a deal. We would sell a majority stake, 75%, to Braddock. In exchange, I would stay on as regional director. Denny would be offered a payout, and nothing else. He wouldn't have a vote. He wouldn't have a role. He would be out. The only thing left was the timing. And when he humiliated me in front of every single employee we had? That made it easy. 2 weeks after the party, I signed the final papers. Braddock sent in a legal team and HR support. It took 4 days to transition. On the 5th day, I sat Denny down in the office that used to be Dad's. He walked in wearing that smug look like always. "What's up, sis? Need help balancing the books again?" I slid a folder across the desk. "What's this?" he asked. Your exit papers, I said. He laughed, then opened it. His face dropped. No. No. You can't do this. I did it. 2 weeks ago. It's done. They own the business. I run the region. You get your buyout and walk. You're not serious. You sold the company? Behind my back? No, I said. I saved it. Behind yours. He started yelling. He called me names. Accused me of betrayal. Said Dad would be ashamed. That part hurt. But I stood up, met his eyes, and said, you treated me like I was just some kid tagging along. I was keeping this place alive while you played boss. Now I am the boss. And you're out. He stormed out. Haven't seen him since. The staff knew within the week. Some people were shocked. Others came to me privately and said, it's about time. The stores are doing better now. Braddock brought in better supply chains, stronger training programs, and new digital systems. I still run the day-to-day, but now with actual authority. I don't regret a thing. After Denny stormed out that day, I expected some backlash. I expected him to sulk, maybe badmouth me around town, or post some rant online about how I backstabbed him. That would have been predictable. But what I got was worse. Way worse. It started small. A week after he left, I noticed we were missing a few back-ordered items from our main supplier. Nothing huge, some extension cords, a pallet of drywall, but enough to slow down sales. At first, I thought it was a mix-up. The new Braddock systems were still syncing with our vendors. But when I called the supplier, the rep hesitated. Actually, your brother called us last week. Said the stores were going under. Told us to hold off until he got things sorted. We didn't know who was really in charge. He lied to them. He knew our suppliers personally. Knew how to make it seem like he was still running things. He was trying to cause chaos, plant doubt, without getting his hands dirty. I had to scramble. I spent the next 2 days on the phone, reassuring every vendor we worked with. Sent out formal memos. Even got Braddock's legal team involved to send a cease and desist if Denny ever contacted them again. That slowed him down. But it didn't stop him. A few days later, someone tagged me in a Facebook post. It was from a new page, True Riley Supply. No profile picture. Just the old company logo. The post said, the truth about how a beloved family business was stolen by greed. Coming soon. My stomach sank. I clicked through the page. It had photos, old pictures of Dad in the stores, Denny working the counters, even one of me from way back, smiling next to a Cashier of the Month sign. He must have dug them up from old hard drives. And then, 3 nights later, the video dropped. A shaky, poorly lit video of Denny sitting on a folding chair in someone's garage. He looked serious. Hey folks. This is Denny Riley. I helped build Riley's Supply from the ground up. My dad started it, and I was there every step of the way. But my sister, he paused, looking into the camera, she went behind my back. Sold the company out to some corporate chain. I didn't even get a say. My own sister. She let strangers take everything my father built. It got over 4,000 views in 2 days. People started asking questions. Some customers gave me weird looks. One woman came in and said, I thought this was still a family store. I wanted to scream. But I didn't. I just smiled, rang her up, and went back to my office. I called Braddock. We made a plan. We doubled down on the rebrand. We got new signage, updated uniforms, fresh paint. I had us featured in the local paper, Riley's joins Braddock, local legacy, modern strength. We leaned into transparency. I did a sit-down interview with a local business reporter. Told the real story. How I kept the book straight while Denny took credit. How I was the one who saved the stores when things got tight. Some people believed me. Some didn't. But I wasn't done yet. Because here's the part Denny didn't know. That deal I made with Braddock? It had a clause. If we acquired any other struggling hardware store in the region within a year, I'd get a piece of ownership back, not just a paycheck. And Denny? He was about to try and open his own shop. About a month after the Facebook video dropped, I got word from an old employee, Trish, who'd worked at our Canton store for nearly 10 years before quitting the year prior. She messaged me late one night, "Hey, I don't know if you've heard, but Denny's opening a store. Couple guys from the warehouse are helping him. Thought you should know." I called her the next day. "He's what?" I asked, already feeling the heat crawl up my neck. "Yup," she said. "He's renting out that old mechanic shop on Fulton Road. Said he's bringing back real service, none of that corporate crap." My hands tightened around the phone. It made sense. Denny couldn't stand being out of the spotlight. He wasn't just throwing a tantrum, he was trying to start over. Compete with me. No, not compete, he wanted to take customers away from the stores I now ran. He wanted a war. And he was playing dirty from the start. 2 days later, a regular from our Massillon store came in, holding a flyer. "Thought you should see this," he said, tossing it on the counter. It was a grainy printout for Riley Brothers Hardware, grand opening next month. Same font. Same red and black logo design Dad used back in 1992. It even had the tagline Dad made up years ago, "The right tools, right now." He was stealing the brand. Our family name. Like he was the one keeping it alive. But legally? It was in the gray. I called the Braddock legal team. "Well," the lawyer said, "he's not using the exact business name. If he markets it as a new Riley family venture, it might fall under fair use." It's tricky. Tricky, my ass. He was using every scrap of goodwill he could steal. I had to act fast. We started a soft PR campaign. Had all 3 of our store managers hand out "We're still Riley's" stickers to every customer. Ran a radio spot on WHBC with my voice, "Come visit the original Rileys. Still family, still local, now stronger than ever." But then, things escalated. One morning, our North Canton store manager, Josh, called me sounding furious. "We got tagged last night," he said. "Tagged?" "Spray paint. Back wall of the building. Says Trader Corporate Shills in red. Big letters. Real big." I drove straight there. It was worse than he said. Whoever did it had sprayed all over our rear wall and part of the loading dock. Trader in all caps. Family money. They even added a fake Braddock logo and crossed it out. I called the cops. Filed a report. Nothing came of it. No cameras in that alley. No witnesses. But we all knew who was behind it. I didn't tell Braddock Corporate at first. They were still getting used to the idea of local drama. But the more Denny pushed, the more I realized I had to fight this my way. So I called up someone I hadn't talked to in years. Her name was Kara. She'd been my roommate at Kent State, now working in marketing for a regional contractors group. She owed me a favor. I asked her one question. "Can you find out who's funding Denny's store?" She laughed. "You want a paper trail?" "No. I want leverage." 2 days later, she called back. "Guess what? He's not funding it himself. Got a silent partner. A guy named Louis Driggs, used to be a supplier. He's fronting the costs for Denny's build-out, but get this, he's got a history of fraud." That's when I saw my chance. Louis Driggs had lost his vendor license back in 2019 for selling counterfeit power tools to school districts in Michigan. If he was attached to Denny's store, I could hit back, hard. I handed everything over to Braddock's legal team. They moved fast. Filed an injunction to freeze Denny's use of the Riley branding and alerted local vendors that Louis Driggs was under scrutiny again. And then I did something even colder. I called the leasing agent for that old mechanic shop Denny was renting. I offered to buy the building outright. Cash. Braddock approved the expense. The shop hadn't even finished renovations. I made the deal quietly. No public announcement. Just papers signed. Then, the day before his grand opening, I had a notice taped to the door. This property is now under new ownership. Unauthorized occupancy will result in legal action. Denny showed up that morning to a locked gate and a sheriff's car parked out front. He called me. Screamed. "You think this is over?" he shouted. "You think you've won? I am Riley's. You're just some accountant who got lucky." I didn't say anything for a second. Then I said, "No, Denny. I'm not lucky. I just stopped waiting for your permission." He hung up. But I wasn't done yet. The fallout from the shutdown of Denny's fake Riley Brothers store hit him fast. Within a week, the story was everywhere: local business blogs, neighborhood Facebook groups, even a mention on the morning radio. Failed hardware startup shut down before opening, they called it. People whispered. Some laughed. Others just shook their heads. Denny went quiet for a while. Real quiet. Then came the final move, the one I didn't see coming. It was a Wednesday afternoon. I was in my office at the Canton location, reviewing staffing reports, when my assistant walked in, pale. "You need to see this," she said, handing me a printed letter. No return address. Just the name Riley Supply and Home, notice of claim. Denny was suing me. He claimed I misled him, that I made secret deals while acting as an equal partner, and that I had stolen his rightful inheritance. He even tried to argue that our dad meant for him to run the stores, and that I'd broken the spirit of the will. I laughed. Out loud. It was so pathetic, so desperate. But it was still a legal problem. Braddock's attorneys got involved again. They filed a motion to dismiss. It dragged out over weeks. Then months. Cost us money. Cost me sleep. I spent hours sitting in lawyers' offices, being asked about old text messages, emails, timelines. Denny was determined to punish me, even if it destroyed what little he had left. And for a while, I wondered if I'd gone too far. I mean, I had taken the company out from under him. I'd bought the building just to stop him from launching. I'd buried him. And I didn't feel bad. Not really. But I felt tired. Then something changed again. One morning, I pulled into the parking lot early. The sun hadn't fully come up. I saw someone standing by the delivery dock out back. Just standing there, hands in pockets. It was Denny. He looked thinner. Grayer. And somehow smaller. I didn't say anything at first. Just walked up slow. "You trespassing?" I asked. He didn't smile. Just looked at me. "I lost everything," he said. "My house. The truck. Louis disappeared. Said the money was an investment risk. I've got nothing." I looked him over. "You had a choice," I said. "You could have worked with me. Shared this. You could have stopped trying to humiliate me every time you opened your mouth." He looked away. "I didn't think you had it in you." "Well," I said, "that's on you." He sighed. "I dropped the lawsuit. You'll get the papers tomorrow." I don't have the fight left in me. I didn't respond. He walked away. And that was it. Months passed. The store stabilized. Profits climbed. Our new training program cut turnover in half. I hired new managers, gave raises. I made sure people knew their work mattered, something Denny never did. But I also did something else. I kept the old Riley Supply and Home sign in our storage room. The one Denny and I grew up under. I didn't toss it. I didn't burn it. It stays there, dusty, cracked along the edges. A reminder. Because yeah, I got revenge. I took back what he tried to claim as his. I made sure he couldn't rewrite history. And I built something stronger. But it came at a cost. I don't talk to my brother anymore. I don't see him at holidays. And even though he hurt me, embarrassed me, tried to ruin me, sometimes I still think about how we started this together. Two dumb kids playing in the stockroom, dreaming about taking over one day. That part's gone now. But the company? That's mine. And no one will ever take it from me again.